400,000 deaths per year.
60% of them women and children.
Choking on the fumes of household air pollution.
Gender inequality, unsustainable resources, and poverty.
These are the issues the citizens of rural Tanzania face every day.
Finding a solution was going to take more than just providing financial aid. It was about educating, empowering and innovating a solution from the ground up. And as a result, we've created Light Mountain, our most impactful enterprise based in Tanzania.
A village where these needs are a reality is Changa, which is also heavily subjected to deforestation. Tanzania alone loses an estimated 400,000 hectares of forest every year. That's the equivalent of over 7,000 football pitches every week.
As forests are stripped away, women are faced with a difficult decision to either spend hours searching for wood or spend 25% of their income on unsustainable and expensive charcoal. Just let that sink in. 25% of their income is equivalent to the average Londoner spending £500 on energy every single month.
But whether it be charcoal or wood, they have no other option but to use these solid fuels to provide a hot meal for their families. The result of inhaling these cooking fumes? Involuntarily smoking an average of 40 cigarettes a day.
We knew we needed to find a solution to tackle these issues. Over the past 3 years, we have taken 7 trips to the eastern region of Tanzania, Morogoro. We have spent time building relationships with our NGOs, meeting villages and piloting solutions. We found women are in need of a sustainable income and the community needed cleaner cooking solutions.
This time last year, we told you about our first cooperative of 7 women in the village of Mkuyuni. We launched the enterprise using imported stoves, and the community could buy them on microfinance. But everything that we're telling you today, we have done over the last 12 months to improve, innovate, and expand Light Mountain.
With the help of our partner NGO, Youth Vision Tanzania, and local village leaders, we were able to identify 4 new communities this year, as well as to continue the support of our first cooperative in Mkuyuni. The 5 villages we work in are all remote and isolated.
This year, by using our detailed needs assessments of surveys, questionnaires, and one-on-one interviews, we've come to understand the needs of communities and the ambitions of individuals.
One of the women we met this year facing these difficulties was Fatuma. Her son suffers from sickle cell anemia, and the treatment has left her in great debt. She does the odd farming job to make a small income, but inevitably, this does not cover the most basic living expenses, and so she mainly relies on the contribution of kind neighbours.
Fatuma's story is not unique. Over the course of visiting 5 villages, we met dozens of women who told us stories about their lives, their struggles, and their goals. The isolation of villages means that their main source of income comes from farming, leaving families dependent on an unpredictable harvest. The majority of the women's husbands travel far to find work, leaving women take on all household responsibilities and costs. This is made even harder by the fact women earn only 1/3 of what men do. We heard dozens of stories, but here are some words from Fatuma.
Maisha yangu ilikuwa ngumu sana. Sikuwa na kazi, sikuwa na pesa nyingi, alafu mimi na familia yangu tukula mara moja tu.
My life is really tough. There's no work, no money, and my family and I eat only once a day.
Pia nimeshindwa kulea watoto yangu.
I'm really struggling to raise my children.
Because of this, we wanted to help Fatuma and the other women we had met who were in similar situations.
We also reassessed the needs of the women in our first cooperative in Mkuyuni. From the successful selling of our previously imported stove, they told us they wanted a cheaper stove that was more efficient than the locally available design. This year, our hunt for a cheaper, locally made stove led us to Chawia and his 5 employees. We conducted one-on-one interviews to get to know them, their needs, and their circumstances.
Chawia is a traditional stove manufacturer who runs his own business and hires other manufacturers in the region of Morogoro. But he had no access to rural villages such as Changa, where demand was high. His location restricted him from selling his stoves even in his own town, where there was also a highly saturated market, forcing him to accept a mere 1,000 shillings, which is the equivalent of 35 pence profit per stove. This saw him struggling to maintain an income for his business and provide for his family of wife and 4 children.
We taught him and the 5 other manufacturers how to make our brand new stove design, developed by our Enactus KCL members with help from our expert advisors. We then collaborated with Chowya to make improvements to the stove based on his experience and the locally available materials.
We produced a prototype and tested our new stoves with our expert advisors and found that they were 60% more efficient and required less fuel than the traditional model. Our new locally made stoves are created with 95% recycled and natural materials, making them 4.5 times cheaper than the imported stoves we used last year. This new design allows Chowya to differentiate himself from his competitors.
After securing manufacturers to produce and distribute the stove, we knew we could provide a suitable solution to groups of individuals from each village. So we created cooperatives of women rather than isolating them as individual entrepreneurs. This structure provides a support system for the women and adds accountability for their enterprise.
Over the course of multiple 10-day trips, we conducted entrepreneurial training in each cooperative. We designed and delivered a training program which included techniques such as role plays and covered all the hard and soft skills required for a successful startup. This included leadership, finance, branding, and sales. Each beneficiary took on different roles, such as an accountant, a team leader, and a marketing director.
Through the training, we tracked and measured progress using a series of group exercises, and we further developed a detailed entrepreneurship guide in their local language Swahili for reference long after we returned to the UK.
Here is how our light mountain stove model works. We provide a loan to each cooperative to purchase an initial amount of stoves, based on the demands the entrepreneurs and village leaders identify. Each stove can be sold for 19,000 shillings, which covers all costs. This price is achievable for some community members to buy them up front, or for those who can't afford it, who can purchase our stoves on an affordable repayment plan.
Now the sale of each stove goes towards repaying the initial loan back to Light Mountain, all manufacturing and transport costs, profit for both Chowya and the women, and finally a development fund for community projects, which benefit the wider community. This model is sustainable, as once the women repay the initial loan back to us, each stove becomes additional income.
Although our stoves are very successful, we acknowledge that they still required an alternative fuel to expensive charcoal or wood. These are having a negative impact on the community through contributing to high emissions of CO2 and deforestation. So, we look to create a cheaper and more environmentally friendly fuel solution. Seeing another opportunity to widen our impact, we could see that we could provide our entrepreneurs with additional income, whilst ensuring that there is a reduction in the fuel costs for all villages. Our solution? Briquettes.
Briquettes are made using dry agricultural waste and starch-based materials such as decomposing fruit skins. These readily available and free materials are then compressed together in our locally made briquette press. Unlike charcoal, this does not require burning in the manufacturing process, making it a cleaner fuel source which burns for longer. This year, we were able to test, modify and improve the production process and taught women from Mpuni, Changa and Kuroka how to make the briquettes. The women used their existing sales and marketing skills, which we taught them, and the enterprise works on the same business repayment model as the stoves.
Now let's talk about our results. Our new solution of locally made stoves provides the cooperatives of women in 5 villages with a steady supply of stoves. Our first 2 cooperatives in Mpuni and Changa, totaling 15 women, were able to sell 80 stoves. This increased their monthly average income by 25%. The women sold out of their first stove order, which helped them to feel empowered both in their abilities and their businesses.
The other 24 women from our 3 other cooperatives have been trained how to effectively run their own stove enterprise and are looking forward to commencing their first sales any day now. The women in our MQ cooperative have been trialling using the briquettes as an alternative fuel source, and as a result have been able to save an average of 1/3 of their monthly household income.
In our initial needs assessments, the women highlighted they lacked income, but from the selling of stoves and briquettes, they have truly been empowered, as they are now able to invest this disposable income into their own small businesses, which is something they had always hoped to achieve. Here are some of the words from our project partner, Amon.
Women entrepreneurs, currently they are able to use the money they obtain from selling the stores to buy their lands. They are also able to pay school fees for their kids, and also they are able to have 3 meals per day. Now women have the power to do what they want. The project has a positive impact in the village at all.
In addition to the life-changing impact for our female entrepreneurs, our model of using locally made stoves provides the stove manufacturers with a wider reach within new markets. Through the first stove order, our stove manufacturers' monthly income increased by 73%.
Now our 6 stove manufacturers have the skills they need to produce our innovative stove design. They have gone from selling as few as 0 to 5 stoves a day to having a stable order from our cooperatives of over 100 stoves a month. They previously used to make a profit of 1,000 shillings, but can now earn double that per stove. They have used their increased profits to buy items such as bikes, furniture, and new clothing for their children, overall helping to improve their livelihood.
But the impact of Light Mountain also extends to the wider community.
Socially, we are bringing men and women together to show that both genders can provide for their families.
Environmentally, our stoves are made of 95% recycled and natural materials, and our briquettes are made using agricultural waste.
And economically, our holistic solution means that each family can now save up to 36% of their monthly income by using our stoves and briquettes, which is savings they were not able to previously make.
We use this year to implement and expand on our solution and always strive to improve the enterprise whenever we could.
From refining our own innovative, locally made stove design,
to creating briquettes, combating deforestation and reducing fuel costs.
We are proud to say that Light Mountain has grown from working in 1 cooperative last year to meeting our expansion target and working in 5 villages.
Now we are aware of the needs of those in rural Tanzania, driving us to think globally, but we also want to act locally, not forgetting the needs of our local community of London.
this year we have run a successful incubator programme called Kickstart, which supports new local ventures with training, expert advice and mentors, as well as ensuring that they learn from the successes and failures of Light Mountain.
One of these new projects launched in the last 5 months is our canvas, which takes discarded flowers and turns them into beautiful phone cases. The team is in the process of producing the end product, which will provide a supportive environment for up to 10 vulnerable women, providing them with an income from selling the phone cases and business skills, which they can take forward into future employment.
Branch is our social enterprise based in London, which takes ugly, unsellable apples and turns them into healthy and tasty crisps. However, Branch has struggled to find a kitchen to produce the crisps on a large scale. But this has not deterred them from continuing to help and support refugees. Burnett and Pauline were unemployed and had no UK qualifications or work experience. This year, we have provided health and safety training to both 2 refugees, and we are all now proud to say that they are in full-time employment.
All of our new local ventures are in the early stages of development, but they are hoping to achieve the scale and depth of impact that Light Mountain has had in Tanzania.
Looking back on this year, we can proudly say we've achieved a great deal in Tanzania, but we aim to go further. By conducting regular needs assessments, we have identified a variety of problems in our 5 communities, such as the lack of access to soap, medicine and clean water. And we've already started looking into how we can provide additional solutions to tackle all these problems in each community.
We want to scale across other regions in Tanzania, aiming to launch and empower over 2,600 entrepreneurs in the next 5 years. This projection is based on minimum estimates of doubling each year. We know this is achievable as we have more than doubled this year, and our model of using repayments to fund new cooperatives means there's no need for any additional startup funding.
Ultimately, we aim to cross borders and scale to other countries across East Africa that can benefit from our new solution too. This is within our reach, and we're all looking forwards towards the future with confidence and excitement.
Through constant evaluation, innovation and collaboration, this year we have empowered 15 women who have sold the stoves. We've also directly impacted an additional 24 women who now have the skills to run their own stove enterprise. We have also supported 6 local manufacturers who now have the knowledge to make their businesses more profitable.
Through our stoves and briquettes, over 18,000 people now have access to cleaner, cheaper and more efficient cooking solutions. We have invested years into understanding the needs of the communities we work with and developed deep learning for the issues they face. But we are most proud of the positive impact Light Mountain has had on the livelihoods of the people we have worked with.
By bringing whole communities together, we understand effective solutions only emerge when we stand side by side with our beneficiaries.
It only emerges when we stand with Chauya, who now operates a more profitable business as he's able to connect with new markets.
It only emerges when we stand with Fatuma, who's earning an income and regaining a voice in a community she's lived in her whole life.
It only emerges when we stand side by side with our 5 cooperatives in the communities, Nkiyini, Changa, Kivuma, Kibwaya and Karoka, to bring about sustainable change.
At Enactus KCL,
We're doing just that.
We'd just like to invite up on stage the project leader of Light Mountain, Esteban.
We will now begin the question and answer period. Judges?
Enactus KCL. Hi, Dan Richards from the UI. Great presentation. Could you just clarify with Light Mountain, what were the achievements and the impact from this year? Because obviously this has been running for a period of time.
Yeah, of course. So this year we have made 3 trips to Tanzania, and in that time we have, so in this time last year we were in 1 community of Nkiyini, and since then we're now in Changa, Kivuma, Karoka and Kibwaya and Nkiyini. So within those villages we've conducted training in all 5 of them. We've improved our stove model to make it more efficient, collaborating with more stove manufacturers to ensure that. Within those 5 villages, we've also conducted briquette training with 3 of them to implement our new briquette model, which was only in production process last year. It's more of an idea, which we've taken from an NIT study. So yeah, we've now got the briquettes up and running, and they are being trialled in one of our villages.
Thank you very much for that, Naim Makaza from NCS Trust. The 36% saving, I just wondered what plans you had to try and track where that was ending up, how that was being reinvested, because I guess that might be the next stove. Yeah, so the savings which the women make, we've done training with them to ensure that they've got accountancy training, because they've never been able to think long term with the profits that they're going to be making. They've always been living like month to month, day to day, sorry. So we're doing training to ensure that the women have the ability to be able to use the money which they're making and invest it into worthy causes. We have been able to see that from our trips, and over the past 3 years, that over the past 3 trips, that the women are actually investing, like they're being able to send their children to school, and some of the women have been able to invest it into their small businesses. So one of the women has started a hairdressing program, another one has been able to have like a small hostel hotel in her village, so they're being able to invest it, which is really promising.
Hi, Peter Holbrook from Social Enterprise UK. You referenced that you changed the business model from supporting 7 single entrepreneurs to now working with 5 cooperatives, and I just wondered what motivated you to undertake that change and what has been the impact?
Excuse me, can you repeat the question?
You referenced working through some single entrepreneurs, and you've evolved that to now working with cooperatives. What was your motivation for that, and what's been the impact?
So since the very beginning, we started with just entrepreneurs, but the idea was to keep a cooperative, so all of the women will have a different role and they will all feel empowered. The model of entrepreneurs is just what the women are, but we are working with cooperatives in the first one, which was MQ Uni, and now has evolved to 5 cooperatives in 5 different villages.
Thanks. Dayo Okawale, House of Lords. I just want to look at your numbers. So you have 15 female entrepreneurs, and then further down it says that a 5-year plan of expanding to 2,685. Just talk to me about the scalability and how you plan to achieve that.
So our expansion plan is a 5-year expansion plan. We plan to, in 5 years, go to 336 communities and empower, as you said, more than 2,600 entrepreneurs. We will do this through increasing the amount of NGOs that we work with. We will as well travel ourselves to Tanzania, and we will grow our society at university. So mainly emphasising on the growth of our support from NGOs.
Yeah, I was interested in, Jim Clifford, Bates Wells, interested in the balance of the needs assessment work between where you're relying on your partner NGO and where you're doing the needs assessment work yourself and doing the interviews yourself. And you commented on the feedback from the first project about now needing a new stove. Can you just expand a little bit on how much of the needs assessment you did and how much the NGO did, please?
Yeah, of course. So over the past 3 years, we have worked with the NGO, and we've conducted over 60 needs and wants assessments with people from the village leaders and the women and the stove manufacturers. When we go on the ground, we always make sure we do more needs assessments. So MQ Uni have seen quite a few needs assessments over the few years now, but we try to ensure that if we are not able to go out within
Your time has now expired. Judges, join me in thanking the team from Sing.